able, please stand for the procession.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. It is my honor as president of the University of North Georgia to welcome you to the summer 2017 commencement ceremony. On behalf of the entire university community, I extend warm and sincere congratulations to these fine scholars and to their families and friends. Our hopes and our dreams are with these graduates today. This is a day of celebration for them and also for our university. As we begin the ceremony, please join me in thanking Dr. Kelly McFadden, Faculty Marshal, and Dr. Joe Chapman for the inspiring processional. I would indeed be remiss if I did not pause to recognize all the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, children, grandparents, other relatives, and friends who stood behind our students and assisted them throughout their college careers. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our students. And students, today is a wonderful day. Here you are, donned in academic regalia, whose design dates back to the Middle Ages and symbolizes your achievement and commitment. The right to wear these robes is an honor that must be earned, and indeed you have earned that right. We are here to honor you with the richest tradition of the academic community, a commencement ceremony celebrating the completion of your degree and the beginning of your professional lives. As you know, UNG holds a special designation within the University System of Georgia as a state leadership institution. As such, UNG has a strong reputation for producing civic, professional, and military leaders, and our graduates are well known as individuals committed to high personal integrity, civic engagement, and community service, and of course, academic excellence. I know that the foundation you have received through UNG will be a catalyst for your future success, and that as graduates of UNG, I have no doubt that you will add value and meaning to the lives of many others around you. Congratulations. Congratulations on this milestone in your life. At this time, Dr. John Broman and the UNG Men's Quartet will lead us in singing the national anthem. Will you please stand if you are able?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. It is my honor as Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs to join President Jacobs in welcoming you to today's ceremony. When I reflect on the experience you have had at UNG and your determination to achieve this goal, I'm reminded of the story of Apollo 13. Most of you are too young to remember it, but perhaps you saw the movie that recounted that mission. Apollo 13 was programmed for 10 days, but suffered a system failure en route. Jim Lovell was commander of the Apollo 13 flight. He and the crew, working closely with ground controllers, conserved the crew's electrical power and water and converted their lunar module into a lifeboat of sorts, allowing them to survive in space and return to Earth. Lovell is credited with saying, "There are people who make things happen. There are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder what happened." To be successful, you need to be a person who makes things happen. As a UNG graduate, you have the knowledge and the critical thinking skills to solve challenging problems. You have learned the value of teamwork, perseverance, and leadership. You will make things happen. As the university's Chief Academic Officer, I recognize the important role of our faculty in helping you to identify and develop these skills. I commend our faculty for their commitment to our students' personal and professional development and for their leadership and dedication to their disciplines. Would all the members of the faculty who are here today, including those on the platform, please rise so that we can recognize you. Please join me in recognizing our University of North Georgia faculty. Thank you. Before we continue with the program, please allow me to introduce the remaining members of our platform party. Will you please stand as your name is called? Mr. Mac McConnell, Senior Vice President for Business and Finance. Dr. Billy Wells, Senior Vice President for Leadership and Global Engagement. Mr. Jeffrey Tanowski, Vice President for University Advancement. Dr. David Corrigan, Professor of English and the reader for today's ceremony. Dr. Ann Duke, Associate Dean of the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Dr. Sherry Hardy, Associate Dean of the College of Education. Dr. Richard Powers, Director of Research for the College of Health Sciences and Professions. Colonel Brent Cummings, Professor of Military Science. Miss Andrea Strickland of the UNG Alumni Board of Directors. Please join me in welcoming these individuals. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today's commencement ceremony. Jim Bohannon of Westwood One Radio is a nationally syndicated radio talk show host heard on 500 radio stations across the country. The Jim Bohannon Show brings listeners a unique blend of breaking news spanning politics and popular culture, interesting features, and informative reports on a spectrum of topics, special guests, and live callers. In addition to the Jim Bohannon Show, Mr. Bohannon spent more than 31 years as the host of the early morning weekday news magazine, America in the Morning, for which he provides interviews and his feature, The Offbeat. A 50-year-plus broadcasting veteran, Bohannon began his career in 1970 in Lebanon, Missouri. After attending Missouri State University, he served in Vietnam, including the Tet Offensive with the 199th Light Infantry Brigade. Following his Army service, he continued his radio career from Washington, D.C. and later Chicago, eventually hosting his own Saturday night phone-in program and serving as the principal backup on The Larry King Show. In 1993, Mr. Bohannon took over the prestigious nighttime talk show slot formerly held by King. Mr. Bohannon is a member of the National Radio Hall of Fame in Chicago and is the winner of numerous other industry accolades, including the First Amendment Award from the Radio Television Digital News Association and the Talkers Magazine Lifetime Achievement Award. Please join me in giving him a warm UNG welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Orman. I thought about just texting this address to each of you or posting it on Facebook or LinkedIn or Hooked Up or whatever is the social media of the day. But here you are, resplendent in cap and gown, eager and idealistic, all set to absorb tired old cynicism in the time-honored manner by stifling yawns. And so let me begin by saying, will the driver of the silver gray 2014 Toyota, thank you, now that I have your undivided attention. Let me start by noting how extremely good many have become at tricking you into focusing your attention. We in the broadcast media are particularly adept at this, and so learn to screen out the extraneous. You're going to encounter a lot of it. Actually, my first real point is to apologize to you. We, members of my generation, are the first generation ever to spend the next generation's, that is, your wealth. We did it not because we were facing desperate circumstances. We did it because we could. And because we can be extremely selfish. Don't be like us in that respect, even if it means that you not only have to pay for our profligate ways, but to build back a nest egg for the generation after yours. Something else of ours which you should avoid is the attention span of a housefly. We are the only society in history which can stand in front of a microwave oven yelling, "Hurry up! I haven't got all minute." Yes, you do. So avoid thinking of life as something like a TV sitcom, perhaps, which can be concluded with all loose ends tied in half an hour, including commercials. Real life is not like that. And much of the rest of the world doesn't think that way. We plan our economy around the next quarterly dividend. Other societies plan for the next quarter of a century. And this gross national attention span is particularly dangerous given that our adversaries, potential and real, think long term. And we do have adversaries. And they don't like the way we hand out rights like they were rights or something. And they correctly identify those rights as deadly to whatever is their particular brand of despotism. And they will get rid of our rights if we give them the chance. And one more thing about our rights. You have quite a few, although not as many as you may think. We often confuse our rights with our privileges and conveniences. For example, you have no right to board an airliner quickly. And with our rights come more than a few responsibilities. Nobody ever seems to talk much about those. Don't assume there will be a big war. Strive to avoid a big war, but know that it remains a very real possibility, and it likely will for the rest of your still young lives. Now then, having said all of that, let me note that your parents have so far managed to avoid that big war, and they have given you what is, for all its warts, the freest society in history, and the best standard of living, even now, and a mostly peaceful, stable society. In short, your parents, for all their flaws, aren't as dumb as they may seem. Or at least someday you may be as dumb as we are. Perhaps even more disquieting, someday you'll look like us. I'll tell you something else. We baby boomers will not go quietly into the night. There are still almost as many of us as there are of you, and we intend to hang on forever, sucking on our inflated notion of our entitlements, even at your expense, largely because we vote. It's a fact that since 18-year-olds got the vote 46 years ago, the 18 to 21-year-old age group has consistently been the group least likely to cast ballots. Why don't you? I recall the first time I voted with a sense of power akin to the day I got my driver's license. And don't even buy that cynical notion that your vote doesn't count. In a closely divided electorate such as ours, any group which suddenly starts voting can swing elections, and has. So register and vote. And if a candidate strikes your fancy, work for him or her. And remember this, digital generation, everybody can have a slick website. Pretty graphics are no way to judge a candidate or a cause. You must learn critical thinking skills, the ability to sort out the worthwhile from the BS. Develop a good BS detector. You're gonna need it. A word you need to remember is fair, as in mostly life isn't. Get over it and move on. Oh, sure, you should try to make life more fair, but when it isn't, no whining, please. Real life offers few safe spaces, and only the superior actually get trophies. And this is not only fair, it's essential. How else do we obtain excellence unless we reward it? Which leads to self-esteem. In the real world, you'll be expected to earn it. While you're being graded and rated and judged and nudged, well, anybody who has ever tried to shield you from this has done you no favors, but only set you up for failure. And speaking of unfair things, consider privacy. We're losing it. Some of it is lost, at least we hope, in the noble quest to protect us from terror. You'll have to decide the merits of that on a case-by-case basis. But protect privacy. It's the basis of human dignity. Something else to keep in mind, you should strive to be something. Something good, hopefully, but be something. Surveys indicate that far too many young people wish not to be president or a doctor or a lawyer or a movie star. They don't even wish to be rich as much as they wish to be famous. For what? Doesn't seem to matter to some, but it does matter. Lee Harvey Oswald is famous. Fame isn't enough. If you actually accomplish things, then fame, at least meaningful fame, will take care of itself. Now, at this point, commencement speeches usually wrap up with a panoramic look at the big picture. Frankly, I think that's overrated. And so I'd like to conclude with a few looks at the little picture. Some hors d'oeuvres for thought, if you will, which might actually be useful. And so, the little picture. Number one, rotate your tires. And keep them balanced with proper air pressure, and check your oil and transmission fluid, and check your smoke detectors, and change your furnace filters. These are little things, but important things, sometimes even life-saving things, and probably things which till now many of your parents have handled. Well, now it's your turn with the mundane details. Before the month of August is out, I expect all of you to have rotated your tires. Little picture number two. That cold, cruel, real world will often demand that you have decent clothing and a haircut. Yes, that's their definition of decent, and yes, that's arbitrary, and yes, that's the way it is. If you don't want to throw avoidable roadblocks in your path, deal with it. Little picture number three. Former basketball great Charles Barkley once said, "I am not a role model." As shocking as it may seem, Sir Charles is wrong on this one. Role model is not a voluntary position. We are all role models, good role models or bad role models. Little picture number four. Compromise isn't a dirty word, even a four-letter word. It is, in fact, what enables free people to self-govern. You should have certain core principles, to be sure, but otherwise, be prepared to dicker with the other person who just might be right. Little picture number five. Compromise usually involves going more than 51% of the way, especially in marriage, which is a great institution, by the way, should you choose to be institutionalized. There are very good legal, practical, and moral reasons why people who bring children into this world should be married. Little picture number six. Establish credit. I gather that's not too hard to do these days, what with stories of infants, dead people, like my own mother, gone 14 years now, and even pets being issued credit cards. But if by some chance you've not borrowed, do so, just to prove that you can be depended on to pay it. Unless, of course, it's a student loan. Only kidding. But if you think this is a cash society, try renting a car or a hotel room without a credit card. Little picture number seven. Having established credit, don't use it unless you really have to. Consumer debt has become a back-breaking burden in this country, one of our biggest problems, next to the national debt, which is now over $61,000 per citizen. You really can wait to get that second jacuzzi. And if you can't keep up with the Joneses, too bad. Either raise your income or lower your expectations. Little picture number 8. Lowered expectations are the secret to happiness. Little picture number 9. Don't just avoid debt, actually save, starting right now. Discover the wonders of compound interest. If you save as little as $10 a week over 43 years at 8% interest, which some stocks can yield, you'll have well over $1 million. Little picture number 10. Just because something is new doesn't automatically make it better. And just because something is old doesn't automatically mean it should be replaced. Little picture number 11. Don't limit yourself. You'll run into many people who will go out of their way to limit you, and when you limit yourself, you're stealing their job, and in many cases, their happiness, too. And little picture number 12, you spent the first years of your life dependent. Your father even claimed you as one on his taxes. Depending on your age, you couldn't drink, drive, vote, work, join the military, sign legal contracts, or otherwise control your lives. Now, you can. You can do pretty much what you want. Travel the world to find yourself, starve in a bad job while living in a lousy apartment just for that right career move. Because from this point on, you will increasingly be unable or unwilling to do that. You'll assume obligations, families, mortgages, college payments for your kids. Try complaining about that someday to your parents. My point is that you are more free right now than you ever have been and you ever will be. Use that freedom. Capitalize on it. Enjoy it. And live an abundantly full life, one which can be fully taxed in order to support your parents in our retirement. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Bohannon, for your message. Among our graduates today are students who have surpassed the academic standards as set forth by our faculty. And it's my pleasure to recognize these honor graduates for their commitment and dedication. The names of these students are listed in your program, and they will be recognized individually as they receive their diplomas. Will you please hold your applause until all groups stand? Will all associate degree students graduating with distinction please stand and remain standing? These students have earned a grade point average of 3.5 on a 4.0 scale. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating cum laude please stand and remain standing? These students have earned a grade point average between 3.5 and 3.69 on a 4.0 scale. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating magna cum laude please stand and remain standing? These students have earned a grade point average between 3.7 and 3.89 on a 4.0 scale. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating summa cum laude please stand and remain standing? These students have earned a grade point average between 3.9 and 4.0 on a 4.0 scale. Please join me in congratulating these people. Thank you. Please be seated. Members of our Corps of Cadets who ranked in the top 20% of more than 5,000 cadets on the National Order of Merit list will graduate as Distinguished Military Graduates, the highest honor an ROTC student can achieve. Will the Distinguished Military Graduate please stand and remain standing? Okay. The UNG, thank you. Thank you. The UNG Honours Program cultivates a community of engaged scholars who have demonstrated excellence in academic, service, and leadership. Completion of the Honours Program includes involvement in activities outside the classroom and service to the institution and local community. Will all graduates who are members of the Honours Program please stand and remain standing? Academic honor societies recognize students who have excelled both academically and as leaders among their peers. Will all graduates who are members of university and departmental academic honor societies please stand? Will you please join me in recognizing all of these graduates for their accomplishments? Thank you. Please be seated. We will now confer the degrees. Will all candidates for associate degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the associate degrees as listed in the printed program. Each of these candidates has successfully completed the requirements for the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the associate degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the company of scholars. At this time, please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the bachelor's degree. Each of these candidates has completed the requirements of the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the bachelor's degree with all the rights and privileges appertaining, and I welcome you to the company of scholars. At this time, please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for all master's degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the master's degree. These candidates have successfully completed the requirements for the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the master's degree with all the rights and privileges appertaining, and I welcome you to the company of scholars. Congratulations.
Please be seated. We will now call for the graduates to be recognized individually. I invite Dr. Brian Corrigan to take his place to announce the graduates. Dr. Jennifer McKinney, our Young Alumni Board, will greet you as you leave the stage and welcome you as new alumni of the University of North Georgia. Marshals, please lead the graduates forward.
We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the College of Education. Kayla Nicole Cleveland. Emily Brooke Rutledge with distinction. We now present the Associate of Arts degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business, John Archer. Alan Harner. Richard Sebastian Kinsey III. Richard Robert Pearson. Layla Amber Price. Brittany L. Queen. We now present the Associate of Applied Science degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business, Teresa Arriaga with distinction, Kayla Lindsay Cash, we now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Education, Lisa Bertelson, Nicholas Jared Bryant. Second Lieutenant Amir Jamal Reed Casimir. Ashley Elizabeth Kohei. Michaela Marie Coffey. Chase H. Coots. Second Lieutenant Ian Patrick Cope. Jessica Cox. Brianna Franks, cum laude. Isan I. Humphrey, magna cum laude. Christopher Deontay Mayfield. Jonathan Javier Pabon, cum laude. Nicole Joy Patterson, magna cum laude. Dahlia Pinnock, summa cum laude. Emily Allison Purcell, cum laude. Jacob Allen Reisner, cum laude. Second Lieutenant Edgar Rojas, cum laude, distinguished military graduate. Samuel Gorman Spota. Gabriel Stephen Takash, cum laude. Keaton Chase Thomas. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Aliedu Aruna. Matthew Compton. Stephen George Dickey. Stephen Trammell Hook. Danielle Izugari. Leonardo Ivan Mazuran. Second Lieutenant Darian Timothy Metz. Jennifer Lucille Oberstadt. Marcel Oscar Poblet. We now present the Bachelor of Applied Science degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Stephanie Michelle Stevens. Maria G. Ibarra. Jeffrey Ian David Egan. Tamika Pode Sullivan. Shannon Uday. We now present the Bachelor of Business Administration degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Second Lieutenant Matthew Ryan Bednarik. Second Lieutenant Mark Byrer. Carly Ann Brody, magna cum laude. Suzanne Ruth Clay. Hannah M. Clore. Christopher Billy Cobb. Tyler Keen Dominy. Rebecca Ferreira. Stephen Herring. Troy Alexander Honkamp. Kayla Michelle Hopkins. Patrick Keegan Hurley. Sean Johnson. Second Lieutenant Christopher Kemp. Casey Madison Kimmery, magna cum laude. Simone Lindsay Krog. Katie Lambertson, cum laude. Jake Larios. Morgan Danielle Lee. Hannah Michelle Loggins. Andrew Long. Jennifer D. Lopez. Zachary Jeff Lynn. Leilani T. Martin. Zachary Scott McGever. Andrew Saunders Miller, magna cum laude, honors program. Stephen Owens Morgan. Erica Jasmine Perez. Nathaniel Poe. Thomas Portier, summa cum laude. Travis Dixon Rowe. Leslie Romsberg. Caitlin Marie Sanders, cum laude. Jonathan Scott Suits. Nathaniel Philip Tetley. Kenneth Valencia. Rachel Lauren Van Horn. Second Lieutenant Joseph Colby Voss. Weston Timothy Walker. Preston Walter Cum Laude Honors Program. Thomas Lee Ward. Reese Zahner Cum Laude. We now present the Master of Business Administration degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Kate Austin. How are you? Complimenti? Charlene Walsh. We now present the Master of Arts in Teaching degree graduates from the College of Education. Denise Charlene Walsh Bandini. Mary McConnell Ewing. Stacey Lee Hammond. Okay. Stacey Lee Hannell. We now present the Master of Science degree graduates from the College of Education. D'Angelo Rafael Santes Lee. Leanne Gay Shaw. Ashley Walker. Okay, I'll try to get that right. Ashley Waters. Ben Gwynn Christopher Wilkerson.
I commend the most recent graduates of the University of North Georgia. Your hard work and dedication have been rightfully rewarded. I offer my personal congratulations to you for earning the title of graduate from this fine institution, and ask that everyone please join me in recognizing this graduating class. Thank you. Graduates, judging from the applause, it is clear that each of you should feel proud of your accomplishments. So at this time, I would like the graduates to join me in a standing round of applause to thank your families, friends, and others that have given you support in the pursuit of your degree. Graduates, please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. One of the many things that makes the University of Georgia such a special place is our designation as one of only 6 senior military colleges in the United States. I would now like to call forward Colonel Brent Cummings to conduct the commissioning ceremony for our military science graduates who are commissioning as second lieutenants. These graduates are recognized individually early in ceremonies with their family and friends. Dr. Cummings.
Thank you, Dr. Orman. Since 1873, this great university has provided leaders for the United States Army. And as a senior federal officer here on campus, I'm pleased to see that tradition continue today. With the commissionees, please stand and remove your caps and gowns at this time. While these commissionees are preparing themselves to take the oath of office, I want to publicly thank all of the faculty here today for the education that you have provided to these leaders in our Army. They will take this education learned here in the hills of Dahlonega around the globe to protect our nation and to serve our soldiers. Commissionees, this oath that I'm about to administer to you, it is unique and it is sacred. It is unique because, unlike other nations and other armies, to include our allies, this oath is not given to a man or a woman, some king or queen, or any type of sovereign. It is not given to an ideology or a doctrine. This oath you take, you swear to the United States Constitution and for the values and the freedoms that document provides each of us in this room. It is sacred because when necessary, you may be called upon to defend this Constitution with your life. I would like to ask any veterans, active duty service members, police officers, or firefighters in the crowd or a part of this ceremony to please stand with me at this time while I administer this oath of office to these commissionees. Commissionees, come to position of attention and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States in the grade of second lieutenant. Do solemnly swear. That I shall support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign or domestic. That I shall bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. And I will well and faithfully. Execute the duties. Of the office in which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Ladies and gentlemen, the defenders of America's freedom.
Thank you, Colonel Cummings. Graduates, you are now lifetime members of the UNG community. We are confident that you will make your university proud wherever your journey may lead, and we look forward to hearing of your achievements. I now call on Ms. Andrea Strickland of the UNG Alumni Board of Directors for her congratulatory remarks.
I hope that everyone in the class of 2017 is just as excited about graduation as I was in 1969. Yay, business majors. After all, you've studied hard, you've probably played hard, and now all that's left is the rest of your lives. How hard can that be? Let me tell you about the hardest class I ever took, and it wasn't at North Georgia College. It was a stand-up comedy class. Before I pass on to you a few life lessons that I learned during those 8 long weeks, I feel the need for the speaker's prayer. It goes like this: Lord, make my words sweet and tender, for tomorrow I may have to eat them. First lesson, some of us are not naturally funny, not naturally talented. The rest of us have to work hard for it. When I performed at my graduation a 5-minute stand-up comedy routine at the Punchline, I was not necessarily the funniest person there. I remember the first night of class, many announced, I'm here because all my friends tell me I'm funny. Well, nobody ever told me that. But I took funny seriously. I listened to the feedback. I practiced my material. So what if I was beat out by a 70-year-old guy telling old folks jokes? I felt good about my act, and even better, people laughed. Lesson 2, learn to pause. In comedy, the pause is critical. You never talk over the laughter. I wish when I were your age, I had learned to pause more, to pause and appreciate my friends and my family, to pause and evaluate my career paths. I took 3 of them to get here today. Pause and savor the good times as you're having today. Lesson 3, develop a so what attitude. No matter how hard you work on that joke, sometimes it just bombs. No matter how hard you might work on that project, sometimes management just turns it down. Does the professional slink off the stage? No way. They immediately pick themselves up and are looking for the next gig. Number 4, learn to use a microphone. Just as the professional comedian learns to take the microphone off the stand, wish I could today, and on the stage, you need to learn to make a presentation. In my 35 years in business communications, I have worked with engineers, scientists, doctors, executives here or abroad, you need to be able to stand and deliver. Oh, and it's a good idea to make sure that the microphone is working as well. Lesson 5, give it up for your colleagues. If your team is preparing for the big show, give them feedback. If your team is on the stage, give them your applause. If, as today, they are your classmates, stay in touch. Join the Alumni Association. Attend alumni events. I have planned our class reunion every 5 years. Next up, 50th. Remember your school, a gift of $10 to $1 million. It all helps future students benefit from the same great experiences you have had. So, a good life and a good laugh have much in common. Hard work beats talent if a talented one doesn't work hard. A pause is time well spent. Attitude is an observable skill. Communication matters. Stand up and stand out. Finally, as I learned in my stand-up comedy class, you are only as strong as the hairspray you use, the liquor you drink, and the friends you make. Congratulations, you are officially an alumni.
Thank you, Andrea. As we conclude today's ceremony, I want to especially thank all of the staff involved with the planning and execution of the ceremony and for making it such a special occasion. The UNG Men's Quartet will come forward to lead us in the University of North Georgia alma mater, which can be found near the back of your program. Following the alma mater, please remain in place for the recession or as the faculty and graduates exit the gymnasium. Thank you, and please stand.
From the Blue Ridge Mountain foothills to the banks of Lake Lanier, memories of our alma mater we all cherish and revere. Seeking courage, truth, and wisdom, fires of loyalty abound. University of North Georgia, from diverse and solid ground. Standing tall, salute your history, to the blue and gold we rise. Look beyond the distant sunset, see the future in our eyes. To our school we bring you glory, may we always honor thee, keeping memory